Hey everybody, this is Jeff the Crippler Daniels, and you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D, from his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
Welcome once again to Live and in Color with Wolfie D. My man Jimmy across the street, man. Hey, what a cool weekend for wrestling, man.
Bro, it was jam-packed with wrestling action, man.
Yeah, man, especially Saturday.
No doubt, dude. I was busy. You were busy. We were all busy, man.
Yeah, man. And I, so funny. I know you know, I've done told you, but to the listeners, I didn't think I was going to be able to make anything because I thought I had something to do. I told everybody about last week. And then like 4 days before, family got the wires crossed and figured out that, I didn't have anything to do Saturday. So I ended up going to the Ricky Steamboat gimmick, man. And that was awesome.
Yeah.
Heck of a crowd. I wanted to be in Evansville, for the Lawler deal. I did send in a video, however. So that was cool that I got to participate in that way. And I know you went to Columbia.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the old Tennessee Outlaw crew, man. Great guys. Yeah, I got to do the reunion for the first time. Hadn't been to that, the Right Way reunion, and then also
did they do it the right way?
Oh, they do it the right way, brother.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely. and then also the cool thing, man, is we got a chance to do a live podcast with the Devils, the Wild Boys, and the Mortons, man, and then they had a little fan fest and then a wrestling match that night. We didn't get to stay for the wrestling, but man, it was a lot of fun.
I was just fixing to ask you, man, because that was like a 40-man tag team match, right?
14 man.
No.
And some of the men were women, but
okay, so person.
First, them. No, but you know how legendary that rivalry is with the Devil's Disciples, man. I mean, that Columbia scene was made on the blood, sweat, and tears of all those tag teams, and so it was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, going back to when I broke in, man. I mean, Columbia was the town of the outlaw stuff around Nashville. Middle Tennessee, Columbia, the Grand Slam. Down there, and Freddie Morton, and then Shane, and all those guys. Man, there's so many names, and man, we got the Cripplers on here today. He can talk a lot about that, I'm sure. I mean, he's been around since I was a kid in the Indies down there.
Yeah, no doubt. I got to see him at the reunion. That was a lot of fun. Always cool to see Jeff and Dominique and the folks. And then we, have got him on the show today, man. It just worked out perfectly, brother. Jeff's a cool guy, man. Jeff's really cool.
Oh, absolutely. I've always liked Jeff, man. Like I said, we go back a long way, man.
Yeah, no doubt. He's just a fun guy to hear and listen to his stories. And, I've had him on my podcast before, and I know there's so much more to talk to him about. But, man, he's just got those stories. And it's kind of funny because he did a lot of his stuff in the 80s and then ended up coming to the scene. And then you kind of led the same path in a way, working the territory, and then ended up doing your thing in the 90s. And then y'all kind of meet up in the Nashville scene, man. It's awesome. So.
Yeah, cool. I always love these when I can, like I said, when I get to talk to people that I ain't talked to in a while, and that's what makes this show kind of fun,
Definitely, man. Yeah, I mean, even though, like Sam Houston, the last episode, man, people love that. People really enjoyed those wild stories, man. He was just... Yeah. Live and in Color with Sam Houston.
he was live.
He was definitely, but man, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of people saying how much they enjoyed that episode. So very cool to have him on,
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, brother?
Oh, man. I don't know if you're trying to get a segue here, but we'll go with it. Yeah, man, dude. I don't know why you put it in your coffee is going to be my first thing to say to you, because it actually tastes good, Jimmy.
Yeah,
I know people are probably like, what's it taste like? And, if you can put it in your coffee, does that mean it doesn't taste like anything. I can't imagine putting that in my coffee, Jimmy. Seriously.
Yeah, it's like
screw my coffee up. So,
well, no, and I get it.
I get it.
Yeah. Well, that's the way, honestly, that's the way you should do it anyway, man. You know, and you don't have to drink coffee, you know, with this. What I was saying mostly is that I just put it in my first cup of coffee and ice it down, and it makes like a little, you know, Magic Mind latte, you know.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not sure what that tastes like, and I don't think I want to know. But what I will tell you is, though, the main thing for me, and like I said last week, I wanted to give a really good synopsis on this and my take on it, man. I don't want to read from their stuff or whatever.
Right.
I think what it's done for me is just made me chill, and it's not like a buzz chill. It's just like shit might go down or something. I'm just like, yeah. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing I can take away from Magic Mind is it's chilled me out, man.
Yeah. I mean, that is part of their statement too, you know.
Exactly.
Energy, focus, you know, calm, you know, it rids you of anxiety, man. I mean,
and that's a huge thing for me. And I know it is many people.
Right.
And that's the biggest one for me, man. The energy thing, I mean, you know me, it ain't like I'm doing a lot, but it's probably there. I did do some house cleaning that I, always do, but I just did a little extra, but the calm and focus, I think, is the one I'm taking away from this.
Yeah, man. I mean, like we've said a million times before, it's a mental performance shot. You know, you add it to your daily routine. It gets you focused, mentally clear, motivated, and productive, while overall reducing stress with mushroom nootropics and adaptogens that are also 100% of your daily vitamin C and D per bottle. So honestly, it's kind of an all-in-one deal, and if you haven't got it yet, I promise you'll feel better and be a better overall.
Yeah, I honestly think that you'll get something out of it. Like I said, I don't want to be the one to sit here and promote something I don't take or believe in.
Amen.
And I've taken it, and I'm not going to. You know me, and I think a lot of the listeners know me. I'm not going to bullshit you.
No.
I think it works. And I've never done mushrooms, but hey, it's got mushrooms all in it.
Well, yeah, man. Right. No, it's like performance mushrooms, man. It's
that's a thing.
Yeah.
Performance enhancing mushrooms. That is a new thing that is going to be banned on the NFL list.
Yeah. Well, I know that it's safe and legal, so I don't know that they'll ban 100%. Magic Mind, but maybe, other performance enhancing.
I like kid. I kid.
Yes,
like
you
that
kid.
Little,
kid.
What's that dog's name?
I kid. I don't know, actually.
Remember the dog?
Triumph. The comic.
I kid.
Yes, Triumph, the comic. Yes. Yeah. Well, Triumph, Wolfie, and all of our listeners, all they have to do is go to magicmind.com/live and in color. And when you get to checkout, type in live and in color 20, one word. That gets you 48% off your first subscription or 20% off your one-time purchases. Like Wolfie,
that's a heck of a deal, though. 48% off the first subscription.
It does.
That makes it what? $20? Is my math right?
Basically, yeah, $25, man. Yeah.
Yeah, for a month. That's gnarly.
No, it's amazing, and with the effects that you're getting from it, I mean, dude, you couldn't get that with energy drinks, anything like that.
No, it's nothing like that. I want to make sure that everybody knows that it's nothing like energy drinks, because I'm a no energy drink guy. I don't like the way it makes me feel. There was a period of my life where I drink like 6 of those a day. And oh man, it had me so jittery and so I didn't like it. And I haven't had it. I have 1 cup of coffee every day, pretty much. But now that I found this, man, it's cool, man. I'm digging the Magic Mind.
Hey, there's no better way to say that, man. Well, like we said, go to magicmind.com/live and in color today and get signed up. Live and in color 20. You know the deal. And we think Magic Mind, man, they've been awesome to us, and we definitely appreciate them and can't wait to work more with them in the future. You know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. If y'all use the code, we'll be working for a while.
There you go. There you go, folks.
Shameless plug.
Shameless, but unshameless. We're shameless,
Yeah,
but
I'm shameless.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we can talk our guest into some Magic Mind. We'll see.
I like it. We'll be right back with Jeff Daniels after these messages.
Hey folks, to get your official Live It in Color with Wolfie D merchandise, go to prowrestlingtees.com/live Wolfie D. Check it out.
If you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D on Apple Podcast and like what you're hearing, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, write a review. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you'd like to hear in the future. It's very important to us and always appreciated. Thanks again.
All right, guys, we're back. You survived the commercial break once again. Jimmy, you hooked us up with another cool guest from my past.
I know, man. You know, I try to bring the goods every once in a while, you know.
Yeah, man. I'm going to have to hand you the book again because I've been booking too much lately. So, man, this guy I go way back with, man, to when I was a kid, and appreciate him coming on. Jeff the Crippler Daniels, what is up, dude?
Wolfie D, brother, how are you?
Man, I'm getting by.
Brother, I hear you. That's what I'm trying to do these days, just get by.
That's right, man. Thanks.
But boy, you ain't lying. We go back a long way.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely. And I don't know how many years it's been since I've actually seen you, but due to the invention of social media, I have watched you, kept up with you and seen that long black hair go from short to white.
Yeah, brother. I always said when I retired, I was cutting all that shit off, and I did.
Well, at least you got some hair to cut off. I don't have that option.
Well, it's getting thinner.
Yeah, man. Me and you go back to probably 91, 92, something like that.
Yeah, got to be 90, 91, 92, somewhere in there. 91, probably. Because I remember you had just broke in. Chris had just broke you in, and we're working down in Shelbyville at what is it, Statham Cab? Is that what the name of that place was?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And see, Chris took me under his wing.
Chris took me under his wing. I had already been broke in before I started hanging out with Chris.
Oh, really?
Joe,
see, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, Joe, Gypsy, and Rick Reynolds, and my stepdad, and all them. We all kind of got in the ring, and that's, people want to. I know Rick don't like to hear it, but Rick brought me to Joe, and that's where I first started training with Joe in the ring and stuff. And then there was a year or so where I didn't really do much. I mean, I was only 16 years old, and
right.
And then I got to hanging out with Chris, and he kind of, like I said, just kind of took me under his wing, and I learned a lot from him. But yeah, that's about the right time.
Yeah. I remember we were down there, and he had brought you into Shelbyville, and he said, man, he says, this kid's going to be great. So can you get him over? I said, well, fuck yeah, I can get him over. Wait, sorry, I can say that, can't I?
Yes,
you're wide open, brother.
Yeah, I can get him over.
Okay, so we went down there and said, what all can you do? He said, well, I'm doing this Airwolf gimmick, blah, 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 blah. I said, well, all right, well, fucking, can you hit a moonsault? Yeah. I said, well, let's do a moonsault. Yeah. I think I caught your first moonsault.
I think so too. I do remember. I remember that match actually. And I don't remember everything we did, but when you say that, I do remember that. Yes. And yeah, because we did it where you were standing and you kind of like a moonsault, standing where you took down with me for the pin or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. You came off the top rope with that, man.
First time
I walked right into
it.
I caught you.
You did, man. And you got me over. I mean, I remember, though, us having a good match, and I remember feeling good about it coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This silly ass dog barking. But yeah, man.
I didn't hear it. Did you hear it, Jimmy?
Yeah, it's okay though. We're good.
Okay,
Keep going.
I didn't really care.
Yeah, he's wanting attention. He's wanting me to throw shit so he can bring it back.
He wants to be on the show. Come on.
Yeah, he does. That's Pierre.
We'll
Ferrari.
see if we can't fucking get him over.
that's Pierre Ferrari.
Pierre Ferrari. Right. Now that's a gimmick name if I've ever heard one.
That's
man.
Dominique's dog.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So man. I do, like I said, I remember that match and I remember feeling good about it, and it was like one of those ones for me at that age. It was like there was a few guys in that little group of outlaw shows that felt like I was wrestling a professional as opposed to wrestling some of the guys, and I'm not gonna name names or anything, but I just knew that okay, this one ain't gonna be going nowhere. Even at a young age.
Exactly.
Like but then there was guys like you where I was like, oh yeah, now this guy can teach me something.
Right. And I had to just never stop learning. I tried to do that every time I crawled in the ring, was try to learn something new. But, But I mean, those were fun times, though. I mean, we wouldn't make it no damn money or nothing. But
but
Chris
was
booking everywhere.
Yeah, Chris had the book on all of them, I think.
Yeah, man. So we stayed busy. Hell, I was working 5 nights a week.
Yeah, we worked quite a few nights for a little outlaw guys. But like you said, we did have fun, and like Shelbyville, man, little place, little dirty place, but man, when it was full and then people were with it, man, it was a cool environment,
You remember the old lady that was always drunk at Shelbyville?
Oh man,
real loud mouth.
Probably
what her name was, but I remember she used to say, "Jeff Daniels, I love you, but I hate that God." She said, "But I hate that goddamn Dominique." She set her hair on fire with a cigarette lighter one night.
Oh my God!
Shit. Did you actually witness it?
Literal heat.
Yes. Yeah, literal heat. Boy, you ain't kidding, right? We were all in shock, like, holy fuck. But I mean, back then in the 90s, they all had hairspray in their hair. It just kind of went oomph, and that was the end of it.
Did they who put her out? Now they do it.
Shit. Well, yeah, man. No, it just went right out. I think she slapped it out once she seen that she had lit it.
That's what I was wondering.
But and Lewisburg over there for Sammy Manier, man, we did 4 million shows over there.
Yep.
We used to fill those places up.
Yeah. So I'm going to interject real quick. What were your first thoughts of a young Airwolf? What were your first thoughts?
Well, I mean, I knew your dad. I knew Pete.
Yeah.
And Chris had all the confidence in the world in you. So I was like, all right, well, I'll work with him. I'll see what I can do. And then I went out there and I was like, man, he's got it. This kid is going to do it. He just, as soon as he gets some time under his belt, he's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah.
And look at you. You were.
Well, I did all right. I think I could have done better if I'd have controlled myself a little better. I could have done
well, we all did all right.
Whatever.
I just always remember thinking of Jeff like he was he just literally, because we've had Black Bart, we've had Sam Houston on, and now we have the Crippler, Jeff Daniels. And I always felt like Jeff just walked right out of a Western movie. To me, it was like he always had that look of like, I'll be your Huckleberry or something,
Yeah, I worked with Bart in Dallas, worked with him with Global, worked with him with World Class over there.
We love Bart, man. He's great.
Yeah, he's a hell of a worker too, man.
Yeah.
Him and John Tatum and all those guys over there.
Who broke you in down there? Is that where you broke in at?
I broke in San Antonio.
Okay.
Actually, Eric Embry was the trainer. But by the time I got in there, Joe was on his last legs fixing to sell out.
Yeah.
And Eric had already jumped. The sheep herders went to Puerto Rico. Eric went to Dallas. And I ended up with Bob Sweetan and Jonathan Boyd training, mainly Sweetan.
Yeah.
Which consisted of an ass beating every day.
Yeah, I bet that's a cool name to have on you, though. See, it's so funny. I tell Jimmy this sometimes, and I'm sure you kind of recall this, but like when you're caught up in it, when you're doing it, we're only thinking about like wrestling and what's next and this, and that, and all the people like we didn't make too many trips together, I don't think. So there was never really a time where I've sat down and talked to you about how did this happen? How did you get there? How did you, and just to hear your story, you know what I mean? I don't think a lot of us really do that unless we're like married with someone on the road,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're stuck in a car 5, 6, 7 days a week. I mean, you learn everything, and that's back in the day. That's how we learned everything anyway. You learn more in the car than you did in the ring.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
That's how we treat this show, basically.
Exactly.
This is the car ride that we never had, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hey, that'll work for me.
They broke you in down there. Then how'd you end up in Tennessee?
Well, I broke in San Antonio, worked down there for a little while. Fred Barron took over, and I was working there for a little bit, just guy getting started. I was married to Sweet Tan for a bit. He took me around, got me over a little bit, and then he moved on back to what he was doing. And, it kind of played out. Barron's was bringing in his own people and shit like that. So I'm like, all right, well, I tried to get in up at Dallas, and they're like, yeah, come up, we'll take a look at you. And I went up there and was there for a month, and, they're like, bookings kind of played out, because Dallas was cliquey. How Dallas was.
Right.
And so a friend of mine, Rod Price, very good Rod Price, Rod.
Yep.
Rod said, man, why don't you go out to California? They're doing some stuff out there. He said, and, I was out there, and then I came here. He said, but, man, they're doing some pretty good stuff out there. And he said, I can give you a number and hook you up with a guy. I was like, sure. So I went out there, and it's when it was California Championship Wrestling. The Olympic was gone. They were wrestling like around L.A. in dinner clubs, selling out dinner clubs. People were having dinner while we were doing bloodbaths.
That's wild.
It was crazy, but it's L.A.
I like my wrestling rare.
Yeah. Dude, I was literally starving to fucking death.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget.
You should have ate off one of the plates.
Hey, man, we're trying, believe me. Victor Rivera said, kid, can you roller skate? I was like, I used to could. He said, what, you want to make some extra money? I said, yeah.
What?
So he sent me over to roller derby with the LAT Birds.
Oh, man.
I did that for about 2 weeks, and I was like, fuck this. So I got a hold of a buddy of mine, Gorgeous Joey Jackson, and he was up in Portland. Lynn Denton was booking up there, and Lenny was just getting ready to come back to Dallas. And Joey said, well, yeah, let me find out who's going to be the booker. So Steve Dahl was going to be the booker. So I got hooked up with Steve, and Steve's like, yeah, man, I can't wait to get you up here. We'll bring you up, blah, 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 blah. And 2 days before my bags were literally already packed.
Yeah.
He called me and said, dude, don't come here. I said, why? He said, Dono and just lost TV. We don't even have TV. I was like, oh, shit. He said, that's a long way from home. I was like, all right. He said, I think I'm fixing to go to Tennessee. I was like, oh, all right. So I called back home. I was like, what the hell's going on over there? And by then, USWA had its little run in Dallas. And Global was, well, no, that's before Jarrett bought them.
Gotcha.
Okay, gotcha.
So I came back, and I picked up a few shows with them. That's when I kind of got in tight with Akbar. And the way that happened is was an old man, Walter, used to haul the ring for Bill Watts. And I was in Shreveport, and I was working for this group that was just starting up. It was like me, Alex Porto was in there, some guys that went on and did all right for themselves, Rainbow Brown, Rude Dog, King Cobra, a bunch of those guys. So, we were trying to get some stuff going, just, grassroots off the ground, pure outlaw shit.
Yeah.
So Mr. Walter said, hey, he said, I'm going to pull a ring for World Class through South Louisiana. Why don't you go ride with me and I'll introduce you to some people? I was like, sure. So, of course, I went and set the ring up for him. That's what that amounted to.
Mm-hmm.
But he introduced me to Akbar. And it was a guy, Frogman LeBlanc.
Yeah. That was like Stone Cold's first opponent.
Yeah, Frogman. Okay. Well, Muda had come over and he was doing the Super Black Dragon. It was his first trip over before he was Muda.
Right.
And they had him working Frogman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Muda was doing this spin kick and he was stiff as fuck with it, right? Well, he'd kick Frogman, he'd kick him completely out of the ring. Frog would take a big bump, go through the ropes, and knock himself out. He did it 2 nights in a row.
Oh, my God.
And I remember Akbar come to me and he said, hey, he said, did you bring any gear with you? I said, well, yes, sir. I got my gear.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, if that goddamn Frogman balls out the ring again tonight, he said, you got that spot the rest of the loop. I said, all right. Sure enough, man, Blackham Coliseum and Lafayette, out he went, straight on his head, knocked him out.
Yeah.
So I picked up and worked the next 4 days with Muda. And,
that's pretty fucking cool, man. I never knew you worked Muda. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but he wasn't even Muda yet. He was Super Black Dragon or Super Black Dragon.
Either way,
but
still fucking cool.
But that's how I started getting a bunch of bookings with World Class at that point. Of course, you know, it wasn't the good days when they were rich as shit. But I mean, you know, it was a legit territory, and I was working again finally.
Yeah,
and working back and forth between them and the Louisiana deal, and so they sold out. USWA come in. You know, I didn't know any of those guys. Well, Downtown Bruno ended up in Louisiana with us. Him and Mike Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike and Kevin Dillinger was doing the RPMs.
Yeah.
And so I was working with those guys every night. You know, Bruno was our manager. I had a partner, Mark Young. He worked as Mark Burns. And we were working RPMs every night.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was starting to play out and the money was shit. And Bruno was going back to Tennessee, and he says, look, man, he says, dead down here. He said, you want to come up and work for the King? And I was like, well, hell yeah. He said, all right, let me get up there. So he got up there and he called and he said, hey, come to, you know, Mid-South Coliseum Monday night. I said, all right. So, man, here we go. Friggin' 10-hour drive to Memphis. And it was me and a big 400-pound guy, looked just like One Man Gang. His name was Jim the Rebel Rider. Okay. He did a gimmick later on as Gang 2000.
Gotcha.
So we went up there and we, you know, talked to Jared that night, and he says, "Oh, well, can you be at TV Saturday?" I'm like, "Yeah." So fuck, that's a whole week off. I guess we got to go back to Louisiana. So we drove back home. We came back up for TV on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So he hires me and Dominique, but he sends Jim home. He said, big guys are a dime a dozen. I can get them all day long up here. And I think the reason why is because that mat at TV was loose, and Jim hung his toe on it and stumbled. And I think that's why he let him go, you know, because then money wasn't good, and they were looking for any reason not to hire you.
Gotcha.
So that's how I got to Tennessee, and
I got
messed around there for a little while. And, you know, good cop, bad cop. Lawler took the book. Jarrett gave it up. So, you know, if Jarrett loved you, Lawler hated you. If Lawler loved you, Jarrett hated you. That's the way they worked out.
Sometimes, but you know what? I swear, man, me and Jamie were lucky in the fact that they both liked us.
Yeah.
I was lucky in that. The only difference, though, was like, you know, Jarrett was the one that actually hired us with the gimmick. But then, like I said, they both liked us, no matter whether the book went back and forth. Lawler's payoffs were always a lot better. That was the good part of that. Yeah. But then, obviously, when Randy Hales came in, everything changed after that for us. So, but
I'll never forget, man. Me and Dominique had that apartment over on Glastonbury here in Nashville, and you and Jamie come by the house and said, man, we got this gimmick and we're going to pitch it to Jerry. And I was like, well, man, that sounds really good. Next thing I know, man, y'all were wide open, gone.
Yeah, man.
13.
It was cool.
I remember Jamie said, "Yeah, we're going up to the fucking big house. I'm gonna walk right up in that motherfucker and say, hey, look at here." And knowing Jamie, you probably did.
Yeah, pretty much the story.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I remember y'all coming by telling me, "Hey, what do you think about this? We're gonna try doing this. I think it's gonna get over." I was like, "I think it's good."
Yeah.
It ended up working.
Yeah, it did.
I'm gonna
went on making money, and me and Chris was still starving.
Oh man.
Jimmy, put your hand out. I'm rolling across and I'm giving you the hot tag. All right, Jimmy, it's time for the hot tag. Come on in.
Okay, I'm coming in with the hot tag. All right, so I hope you're ready for this house of fire, Jeff.
All right.
So
I'm bumping and selling, brother. Go ahead.
Well, that'll be me soon. Don't worry. So you and I talked the other night, Jeff, and this story has stuck in my mind ever since you told it to me. I'm just going to say 2 words. It makes a name, and I would love to hear your stories about this gentleman, Wendell Cooley.
Yeah, you know, that's old news. I'll just put it this way. I'm not a Wendell Cooley fan. He took me over in Mississippi, and we had a few words, and told Frankie Lancaster to sit the fuck down and shut up, or he would be next. And Tom Pritchard got my payoff, and I never went back to Continental.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a short story.
We'll leave it at that. Here's the deal with that. All right. So Mike Davis, you know, the promoter at IWF got pissed off at me because I wanted him to pay me.
Oh, imagine that.
So he throws a big fit and fires me. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Ken Massey said, that's bullshit. I said, you know, it is what it is, I guess. So he was already pissed at me. He had me working under a mask. So he fired me, and I was like, really? All right. And so I walked right out the fucking curtain, took the mask off, walked right through the fucking crowd. Boy, he was pissed. And Mike Davis said, be in Florence, Alabama tomorrow night. I was like, Florence, Alabama? That's a long fucking way. He said, well, you got a job. Be there. I said, all right. So I went up, and it was Continental, but it was after David Woods. It was when Cheryl Dunn had took over and was trying to save it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, see, that was my problem. I always got in on the tail end of everything.
Yeah.
Timing.
So, you know, it was just that time of the business.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I get up there the first night and walk in the dressing room, and I'm sitting there. I don't know anybody. Nobody's friendly, you know. And in walked Tracy Smothers. Tracy had just come back from Mexico, and that's the night I met Tracy Smothers and was friends with him till the day he died.
Yeah.
Loved that man.
Absolutely.
But we did a 6-man tag that night. It was Wendell, Frankie, and Tracy against me, the spoiler, and somebody else. You know, and had a hell of a match. And they're like, man, that was great. Said, be in Ponce de Leon, Florida tomorrow. I was like, Ponce de Leon, Florida? I'm almost in Tennessee. So I drove from there to Montgomery, got a room, spent the night, drove the rest of the way to Florida. And, you know, he gave me, he said, look, we ain't got no money. He said, you know, we'll get paid off tomorrow night. He said, you know, here's $25. I'm like, $25. I said, I ain't even enough gas to get to Florida. You know, I'm already dipping in my pocket.
Yeah.
So I get to Florida, right? And I'm working Adrian Street.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is so cool, you know. And I get in the ring with this guy, right?
Yeah.
And Wolfie, let me tell you, he grabbed and rolled and twisted and put me in everything you could imagine. Didn't stretch me.
Yeah.
But let me know, hey, don't fuck up, kid. Because I'll tie your ass in a knot. And, but then the coolest part about it is I guess he liked me because he let me do the big finish with Linda where I grabbed her to body slammer and he schoolboyed me. They both pinned me, you know. So that was super big Adrian and Linda finish.
Yeah.
So that was the end of the run, right? So Wendell says, all right, Thursday we're in Philadelphia, Mississippi. I was like, okay, I'll be there. And I got paid that night. You know, he gave me $75. I was like, okay, you know, there wasn't very many people there. So I thought, all right, this is probably not too bad.
Yeah.
So So I go home to Louisiana, and Dominique's going to ride back with me. She said, well, I'll go ride with you to this one. I said, all right. So we take off, and she goes, hey, let's leave early, go to Biloxi and hang out on the beach, and then we'll drive up, because Philadelphia's only like 2.5 hours from there. I was like, yeah. So, man, we got sunburnt like a son of a bitch. I mean, like crawfish red, right?
Yeah.
So get to Philadelphia, and I'm not seeing posters anywhere. I can't find the building. I'm trying to call Wendell. Yeah, no answer. You know, back then there wasn't cell phones. I was calling his house.
Right.
So finally, his old lady answers, right? And she says, oh, did he not tell you? Tell me what? Oh, they canceled Philadelphia. They're in Greenwood, Mississippi tonight. I'm like, really? She said, yeah, he forgot to tell Adrian and Linda, too. They just said, fuck it, they weren't going. I'm like, well, man, I'm already up here. I got to have fucking money. I said, all right, well, I'm headed to Greenwood. So
how far is that?
Tell him I'm on my way. It was like 3 hours. So I get to Greenwood as the semi-main event's going on.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
And I get walked in the dressing room, and Wendell's like, hey, what are you doing here? I said, I was fucking booked. Yeah. I said, dude, you didn't tell me we were here. You told me Philadelphia, Mississippi. Yeah, we were going to run Philadelphia, but that changed, and we got this show, so we're here. I was like, well, yeah, but you drove me all the way to Philadelphia, Mississippi for a show that wasn't there without calling me.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to overlook you. I said, well, look, I'm here. Whether I work or not, I fucking made 2 towns for you today. Yeah. I need to pay off. Oh, yeah. Yeah, brother, I'm going to take care of you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm watching Tom Pritchard in the main event because him and Tracy are tearing the fucking house down, right? And match is over, and I start looking around, and Wendell's fucking gone. I'm like, you motherfucker. So I'm like, son of a bitch. Boy, I was fucking raising hell. And Tom, I knew Tom from Houston. I'd met him a time or two over there, because he was one of Paul Bosch's boys, and Paul's the one that actually sent me to San Antonio and got me into business.
Gotcha.
So Tom says, look, man, I know this is fucked up. He said, but I'm fixing to take the book. He said, be patient. It's going to get better. I said, I don't know, dude. I said, I'm pretty fucking disgusted. He said, well, yeah, I know. He said, I can understand. I said, well, I drove all the way to that other show, which was canceled. He didn't tell me about this one. So I drove here because I needed a payoff, man. I made 2 towns for him, even though I didn't work. That's a hell of a lot of driving. He said, yeah. He said, you deserve a payoff. I said, well, he told me he was going to pay me, but he's gone. Tom says, well, he said, I can tell you where he's at. Really? He said, yeah, he's at Shoney's. They all go over there and make their payoffs, and everybody eats, and then they head back.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. I said, well, I'm heading over there. So I walked in, walked over to the table, and I said, dude, you fucking took off without paying me. Oh, man, that's just the way it is sometimes. I flipped his plate in his lap. And I said, yeah, that's the way it is, motherfucker. And Frankie started to get up. I said, don't get up, motherfucker. I swear to God, at this point, I will fucking kill you.
Oh, my God.
And, about that time, Tom walked in. He's like, look, brother, so you need to fucking pay him. Get him his fucking payoff. Cheryl's sitting right over there. Get him some fucking money. Yeah, I'll get it. So he got me $150, and so you paid out. He said, I don't need you no more. I said, what's the good fucking thing is I ain't coming back.
Yeah. I was wrapping up anyway.
I fucking told Mike Davis, thanks. Boy, that was a big favor you did me there, Mike. He said, well, cocksucker.
But big thanks to Dr. Tom. Get you paid.
Yeah. Tom, him and Tracy were the only ones. Yeah. I love him. I've worked with him off and on. Texas, Nashville, Smoky Mountain.
Yeah.
I worked with him all over the place.
Good dude.
Always good dude. You know that, Wolfie.
Oh, for sure.
Nothing but a heart of gold.
Yep. Sometimes he's a little grouchy. Yeah. He knows that, though. He's grouchy, Dr. Tom, sometimes.
Well,
been seeing a lot of patients,
He wouldn't like that when he was younger, though. That's just after he got older.
Yeah.
Disgusted.
And bless him, he can't hear no more, so he's always saying what and putting his ear up to your mouth almost.
Yeah. What? Speak up.
It's funny.
Speaking of that, I'm getting my hearing aids next week.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, good for you, man.
I just had open heart surgery, right?
Jimmy, you told me that, didn't you?
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah.
I think I did know that, man. Everything okay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much back to normal now.
Okay.
But I was lucky they did that robotic surgery on me instead of having to crack my whole chest open.
Oh, really?
They went in under my left pec, spread my ribs apart, collapsed my lung, and went in there and did a double bypass.
Wow. Well, yeah, because I always thought that I guess they don't have to do it that way. Or break apart.
Oh, man, I will tell you, I'm glad they didn't crack my chest open.
No joke.
But I'm going to tell you, getting over that collapsed lung was no freaking joke.
No doubt. Man.
Yeah, I talked to quite a few guys on here, man, and we're all getting older, man. We've all had some stuff happen. I know Reggie B's had some stuff happen. I had a big heart attack a couple of years ago. And,
I know, man.
Lodi had a quintuple bypass. He told us about. Yeah, man.
Who did?
Lodi from North Carolina. He worked in WCW for. Yeah,
Lodi. I thought I swear to God, I thought you said Rudy. You said Rudy the referee. Rudy Charles. I was like, holy shit, he looks good because I saw him in the ring the other night.
He made a great recovery.
Yes.
Let's take a quick time out and get a word from one of my dope-ass sponsors, and we'll be right back with more Live and in Color with Wolfie D. Hey folks, this is Wolfie D here, and if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Tennessee or Southern Kentucky, you're going to want to call my buddy, the rock star realtor, Benji Bowie. And you say, Wolfie, how do I get in touch with this rock star? Well, you can call him directly at 615-390-8216. You can go to his website, bowiehomes.com. That's B-U-I-E homes.com. Or you can email him at benbowie34@gmail.com. When you need a home, you need the Rockstar Realtor.
Benji is a member of Exit Realty's Garden Gate team in Gallatin, Tennessee.
Well, you brought up something there talking about Dr. Tom, and some of our listeners love to hear stories about Smoky Mountain. And one of our listeners, Donnie Davis, his dad's going into hospice, not doing good. Let's cheer Donnie up a little bit and talk about some Smoky Mountain, if you don't mind.
We can do that. Wolfie, y'all did some stuff with Smoky Mountain too, didn't you?
Yeah, well, the whole USWA versus Smoky Mountain angle. Yeah, that's what it started with.
Right,
versus the rock and roll, and then we started involving everybody else. And then we also went up there a few times, well, more than a few, but, did stuff as where we were the heels. It was mainly just me and Jamie. We didn't really incorporate a whole lot of other people in that part of the angle, but then they shut down.
I know y'all worked Ricky and Robert a good bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they ended up closing up before we could really get that. We had them come to Memphis and be the heels, and me and Jamie went up there a few times, but we wanted to do the whole deal, but they ended up closing up.
So let me say this real quick. Speaking of the rock and roll, there's a very famous segment from Smoky Mountain history, right, where there was a deal where Arn Anderson was coming in and Bobby Eaton came in to help the Heavenly Bodies, and there was a match that had Arn Anderson under a sheet. It's a very famous clip from Smoky Mountain. Tell the listeners who was in the ring that night when that happened.
Oh, yeah, that's the night they were bringing him in, and it was me, I think, and Paul Lee.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
Against the rock and roll. We worked Ricky and Robert, and put them over, and they slid out, and Cornette come out and did the poke the bear thing, and they pulled it off, and Bobby Eaton shit his pants, and they shut the house down. I was there the night. I want to say it may be the same night that Kinemura was in.
Okay.
And Sullivan, he was working Sullivan, and Sullivan used the spike on him, and Kinemura went to get color and cut himself to the bone on his arm. And Sullivan said, man, that was the grossest thing I ever seen, but I couldn't help it. I had to stick my spike in there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but we went out, took a couple of chair shots, you know, from Atom Bomb to while Sullivan was on him, you know, and finally I think the Rock and Roll and Tracy and them come out and finally got him off of him. But yeah, that's crazy. It was pretty good though, man, because Tracy and Tom got me the job over there. I went over, was going to do some TVs.
Yeah.
And the first night in, I worked Kevin Sullivan. So, and it's right after he did the deal with Brian Lee where he had put Brian out and they had the tombstone and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
So, so Kevin says, hey, will you get color for me? I was like, hell yeah. So he slams me in this table outside the ring and I get color, and he comes back at me. He says, get it again. So he slams me back and I get color again. And he goes, one more time. I was like, damn. I hit the table and I stuck my hand up there and I was covered in blood. I was like, shit. I ain't cut myself no more. And just as I raised up, he one of the light stands from around the ring, he went to swing a chair, hit the light stand, turned the light stand over, it fell and hit me right across the back of the head.
Oh my God.
And I mean, it split me wide. I had 16 staples across my head.
No shit.
But, yeah. He hung me in the tree of woes, and there's a puddle of blood. And Mark Curtis is going, "Oh my God, brother, are you gonna live? Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I've never seen so much blood." I said, "Well, shit, get me out of here then."
Yeah.
But then Bullet says, "Man," he said, "Look," he said, "make sure you're okay." He said, "But don't clean that up just yet." He said, "I want you to do something." I was like, "Yeah, okay." So we went back out right toward the end of TV, and you know that's when Bob was trying. We was the commissioner, and he was trying to get Sullivan banned.
Right.
And you know, this guy's up here just trying to make a living for his family, and this is what you got to put up with Kevin Sullivan, you know. And they did the close up on my head and all that stuff because you can still get away with that on TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, that got me a job, so I was working pretty much every TV. And,
it's a hard way to get a job.
Yeah, literally. But then they wanted to look at Chris Michaels. I said, "Man, bring Chris Michaels up here. You guys give me about a 15-minute match." I said, "Okay." So, of course, Chris is like, "All right, I want to get this in. I want to get this in. I want to get this in." So, you know, that was the beginning of, hey, let's go over the whole match, you know, instead of just walking and talking. So he had this, I was driving, he had this whole match laid out. I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe, okay, if I can remember that. All right. So we get there, and he says, "We got a 15-minute match to put together, Mr. Cornette." And he said, "Great. Can you do it in 6?
Exactly.
"We're running long, kid. Can you do it in 6? I said, "Yes, sir, we can do it in 6. So we just went out there and did a big, long high spot that never stopped. And I slipped him over with a super kick. And I ended up with a full-time job, and they sent him back home for a few months before they hired him.
Wow.
But that's
was he Chris Comet? Was he Chris Comet?
Yeah, that's what they were looking at. Cornette wanted him to do the Chris Comet thing. Because
of the Dale Mann, Chris Michaels, Shawn Michaels deal, probably, right? I would assume. Is that
no? Just because Corny loves the space shit.
Got it. Okay.
Chris Comet.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, he was going to give him like an older Heavenly Bodies or Midnight Express robe to wear, you know, with comets shooting on it.
Right.
Yeah. That's all. I mean, yeah.
So I guess we could talk about like, okay, so after that, and then that would have probably been, what year was that? That would have been 90. What,
93, 94?
Okay.
Yeah, 93, 94. Maybe.
Yeah, I had it made up there, man. I either worked the Rock and Roll or the Armstrongs. They're like, "No, we want Jeff. We need Jeff."
Yeah, man.
That's why I always saw you on TV, dude. So,
And they were pushing for me to get that Heavenly Body spot when they brought in Jimmy Del Rey, you know, Jimmy Backlund.
Nice.
But Corny owed him a favor, so that's what I was told. Ricky told me, "Say, hey, I owed him a favor." So yeah. So it was just a big break, no big
just
deal.
A big break. That's all, man. Yeah.
Gigolo Jeff Daniels, huh? Gigolo
Jeff. Yeah.
Boy, I looked the part too, didn't I?
Yeah, buddy.
Awesome. I don't know. I was in pretty decent shape then.
Of course. Yeah. There's some great guys that worked underneath in Smoky Mountain around that time, man. Some great, talented dudes, man. So.
Yeah, a lot of guys. Bobby Blaze, all them boys. Yeah. All come in and work their way up the ladder.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Chris Champion, obviously. Like I said, man, he helped me out a lot. And then, me and him had a run as a tag team before. I think it was when I started doing Slash, and I can't remember. It was before TNA, but yeah. So me and Chris were doing a thing. He was blowing fire, and I was Slash.
Yeah.
And we were doing it at different places. I remember Jimmy Hart loved it, and I can't remember. I was thinking WCW was kind of our goal to get in there, and it was getting there. It was getting there, but then it fell down, and I think I can't remember if that was before or after I went to OVW, and you know what I mean. So, and then there was TNA in there too. So
I want to say, isn't that about the time you ended up going to OVW and getting the developmental thing? And then Chris talked his way in as Yoshi Kwan at WCW.
That might have been. Well, I was thinking this was after Yoshi Kwan.
I think it was.
Was it after Yoshi?
Yeah,
because you weren't doing Slash then.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, it's crazy because it all mixes together at certain points. But my thing was, though, I mean, we all worked together. Me, you, Chris did a lot of work together around here with Byrd and those Nashville-based TVs. You booked.
You remember when Chris was doing the Sin thing, and I think we gave birth on NWA TV for this area for the Slash character.
Yes, exactly.
You were already doing it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, we did a lot of work.
We did some great vignettes, man.
Oh, man, they were great. Yeah. Brian Turner's showcased a lot of those recently, So
he has, man. He's got footage. I'm like, holy cow, I didn't know they existed.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about Chris, though. I would love to hear some stories about Chris.
Oh, my friend Chris. First time I met Chris was I just got let go from Jarrett. And I was trying to find some places to work. And somebody said, hey, you need to call Chris Champion. He pretty much all the indie shows around here. So, okay, well, somebody give me a phone number.
Yeah.
So Chris said, come down to Shelbyville and, come talk to me. So I come down there. He said, you bring gear? I said, yeah. He said, well, you want to work? I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, yeah, you're on my crew, dude. I said, all right, well. So that's how we first met. And then over the years, I mean, we just did so much shit together. It's like, Chris is working here. Hey, you need to bring in Jeff Daniels. And I'm working here. And I'm like, hey, you need to bring Chris Champion in here, And we just kind of helped each other out through all that. And you too, Wolfie. I mean, because Chris was dragging you along, helping you, open doors. And we were all doing that, trying to help everybody was trying to help each other.
Right.
But I think the coolest thing we ever did was it was right after the PRX thing in Nashville. Mm-hmm. And Byrd had took over, and of course he wanted to kill us because me and Chris were over like a son of a bitch. So he had us job out to Corey and Ashley, which I didn't mind putting them over because they were legit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And but we could never tag together again. So then we found a loophole to get by that. But Chris had started doing something with you, remember?
Yeah.
And I told a big bunch of shit how, Wolfie talks about you behind your back and blah, blah, blah. We did all these vignettes on TV, right? Yeah. Chris is all pissed at Wolfie and won't speak to him. And Wolfie's like, what's happening, And I remember we were out there on TV and you come out with that big ass knife. And you said, Jeff Daniels, I have had enough. Shut your mouth right now or I will literally cut you out of this interview. You had that big ass knife. And we did the whole deal. It's where Chris realized that I was the one lying, not you.
Yeah.
And we ended up doing that 3-way deal with me, you, and Chris at the fairgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget the big hot spot in the whole thing was the triple sleeper.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember all that.
Did that triple sleeper, and then one of us would reverse and go to the back of the line and get the other guy in the sleep. I think finally y'all probably put me to sleep.
Okay.
Because I was always the guy that put everybody
That's commonplace now, huh? That kind of spot.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, but nobody was doing shit like that back then.
Right.
No, and it's hard to get a good 3-way match, right? I mean, if you really have to think about a good, yeah.
Well, I mean, look, we had Chris Champion and Wolfie. I mean, how the hell can I go wrong?
I mean, and they probably thought the same way about you.
We've all known each other for 20 years.
Right.
Worked each other a million times. It's like, oh, this is going to be a walk in the park.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
we pretty much went out there and made it a walk in the park and got it over.
Yeah,
sure, man.
Who was your favorite promoter to work for in Nashville in the whole time you were there?
Reno.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love Mike Porter. But Mike Porter just he let Burt run all over him.
Yeah.
Every time we get something going, he'd let Burt kill it. And Burt, Burt used to tell me all the time. I said, Burt, why don't you use me? I could be as important to you as Rapata is.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, Jeffrey, I just can't take you away from Michael. He ain't doing nothing with me, Bert. Well, I'll give you some bookings. And he always would. He'd always give me some bookings, and he always paid me super good.
Yeah.
Bert always took care of me, but he fucked me at the same time.
Yeah. But not in the same way Colorado. No, I'm just kidding. It's a bad joke.
Yeah, no, not literally. I'm just talking about career-wise.
Love you, Mike. Like
the time he told me, he said, I've got the perfect gimmick. I'm going to get you so over. You just will not believe how over this is going to get you. I said, really? Well, this is really going to get you over, Jeffrey. I'm going to get you so over. I was like, okay, what are we doing? So, well, we're going to do this thing where you go out there and you win, but we reverse the decision on you and you lose every match until finally, the people get behind you. We turn you into this big baby face. And I'm going, okay. And I'm thinking, no, Bert, you're just fucking burying me, which he was. He was burying me.
Yeah.
But I went out there and I got the freaking thing over.
Yeah.
And I started cutting some shoot promos, like, never mind the man behind the curtain. I'll get you and your little dog too, and shit like that. But I was like, no.
Yeah, man, like with Burt and Porter and even some of the others, man, it's like, why are y'all just infighting so much, man? You're fighting over crumbs. You're not even fighting over the whole pie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it ain't even a piece of the pie. It's the crumbs left in the pan.
I know. It's like, come on,
yeah.
They all want to have their own thing.
I was so burnt out on wrestling. I was just like ready to quit.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul Adams called me and said, brother, come work for us over here. I said, Paul, I'm just fucking sick of it. I said, I'm going to come over there and y'all are just going to bury me because I've worked against you for so long. No, I swear to God, we're not, man. Just come over.
Yeah.
So this went on for a month or two. And finally it was right at Christmas. I went home to Louisiana. I drove back early to be back the night of Christmas, walked in at Freddy's, and man, they put me over like $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have any stress on me. I wasn't the booker. I didn't have to come up with ideas.
Yeah.
And I spent the next 1.5, 2 years just enjoying myself. And when it was time to get out, I got out and I was happy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's why I would say Reno's my favorite promoter in Nashville.
Yeah.
And especially, you remember, like, I know for a fact it was in June of 1999, I'm pretty sure. And that's when he had that first, I guess it was called Main Event, the first show he did. And it had the Samoans, Bushwhackers, and different people. and I worked Tommy Rogers on that show, and I mean, it was, and he was, he actually had a set, and it was professional, and it was, you know what I'm saying, and I was like, okay, this is good stuff, and I'd known Reno obviously for a long time. It was just like, well,
I'd known him forever. Hell, we worked me and Reno worked every damn Terry Rice show together forever, you know.
So you actually worked
with George Weingroff. Oh yeah, there was a time when Terry ran shows.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
and they were good.
I'm just joking, but
no, I know the joke. I see Jason James said something about Power Pros making a comeback at the Troubadour in Nashville. I see that on Facebook earlier. I was like, yeah, I'll believe that.
Oh, it's called Power Slam, wasn't it? Power Slam.
Power Slam.
Yeah, Power Slam.
Randy Hales was Power Pro.
Randy Hales Power Pro.
Power Slam.
Randy would fall apart.
And then two comments down later, Jason says, "Update: show has been canceled."
Right.
Oh man.
100%, man. Jimmy, you got anything left, man?
I mean, but we can't talk to the Crippler without talking a little bit about the son of the assassin, the new age assassin, whatever you want to call him, Tim Renesto, man.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys we've been trying to find. You know, this is an important subject.
The last I heard, I think he's back in Dayton taking care of his mom.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
I always liked him.
His mom was in bad health, and I think he went back up there. You know, I mean, we got crossways with each other, but I mean, we were okay. But I mean, there was a time where we were inseparable. Fuck, we were the world champions together.
Yeah.
And
Cephas had the best Tim Renesto impersonation. It's so funny.
In Saw, I teamed with Joe. We
the Brotherhood
gimmick.
I love that.
Yeah, man, that was so fun.
Yeah. I love that gimmick.
But Timmy's last I heard, he's up in Dayton. Somebody ought to be able to get Can anybody get a hold of Tom Jr.?
I mean, that's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question.
Get a hold of Tom, if you can get a hold of Tom, Tom can put you in touch with Timmy.
With Tim, yeah. I mean, Rick Reynolds has told me he could do it, and Kroll, and I mean, so many guys. So we're just, hey, Timmy, if you're hearing this, brother, talk to Wolfie D.
Yes.
Yeah, brother, how are you? I miss you.
Yeah. I just remember there was a time that I could see a big gap in the talent. And I'm not knocking the younger guys. I'm just saying, you had the Tims, the Jeffs, the Wolfies, the Dante Mephistos. You had, dude, all those guys, the Wild Boys, Ben and Steve. Yes. I mean, all those dudes. And to me, there was it was like, holy crap, these guys, it's like a difference and I know there was younger guys and there's younger guys, Josephus, Plunky, these guys that are doing stuff with themselves, but man, it was such a wide divide, and it felt like it could any of the new guys get in touch. So that's why I loved when you were in the Brotherhood with Josephus, because it was like the new age and the old age, and not to knock him.
There was guys, and Wolfie can attest to this. Some of those guys were worth taking the time with. Josephus was one. Right. Plunkett was another one. I gave so much info to Plunkett, just trying to fill his head,
Yeah.
And he was like a sponge. And I mean, look at him now. I'm not saying that it's because of me,
right?
But I pointed him in a direction, and he worked his ass off. And look at him.
Yeah.
He earns everything he's doing right now.
Amen.
Yeah. He has done good. You're right about that, because he would come to the wrestling school when I was out in Murfreesboro there. Him and Iggy and
Carrie Awful.
They'd come out there.
Yeah, look at those guys, man. They're over his hill too.
Yeah. And those guys are like my peers, so those, even though I'm 10 years older than all of them, they're like my peers because I was a rookie in my 30s whenever they were rookies in their early 20s, so it was
right.
But then I was always drawn to the veterans. So anytime I could sit by Wolfie, I would. Tim Renesto, I would. You obviously. I remember and it's funny because the story that Wolfie tells about Jamie and him meeting Jeff, if we can make him laugh, I knew that
meeting
Jerry, exactly. So when I met you, I was like, I want to make this dude laugh, and I made you laugh, and I was like, okay, maybe I've got an in here. We'll keep pushing that. And it was at a benefit show we were working together, and I just remember making you chuckle, and I was like, nice, I've got something now.
I was always easy, man. I was always approachable. I was always willing to help. As long as you weren't an asshole, anything you asked me, I'd help you with.
Yeah. You're that for sure. Definitely.
The man that caught my first moonsault, we got it on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
with his Michael Jackson glove.
Yeah. Nice.
You tell Dom.
You still got that glove, Wolf?
No, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the jacket. I didn't have the glove. I had the jacket. Remember?
I thought you had the glove too. I knew you had the red jacket, but I thought you had
jacket with the one silver thing on one side. That was Chris's jacket for his new breed jacket. And he gave that to me.
Yes, new breed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you still have that? There's no way.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of things that I wish I still had.
Right. That's a sore subject. Yeah.
But, you know what I've got that I never got rid of?
What's that?
I have got. You see a lot of pictures of Jerry Stubbs doing Mr. Olympia, and he had the all yellow mask.
Yes.
I've got that mask because he gave me that mask to do the Dreamweaver in a Continental.
Wow. Okay.
And I've still got that mask. I told him about that not long ago. He said, "You have got to be kidding me. You've still got that raggedy asshole mask." I said, "I do, Jerry."
I've changed addresses and women too many times to have all my stuff. So.
Jeff figured that one out early on that part.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, well, luckily, I'm still with the same one, so I still got all my shit.
That was Jimmy's point, right?
So
there.
far. So far.
Well, bring her on with you next time.
You tell her, Jeff. You tell her that I said hello. And
I will do that, Wolfie.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for having me on here, brother. I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too, man. And it's been great just chatting with you. That's what I love about doing this show. Sometimes I hadn't talked with people in a long time, and it's just an opportunity to sit around and just talk for a minute, man, without, just be able to talk, and that's kind of what this show is.
Basically, yeah.
Little road trip.
Just get together and bullshit sometime.
It is, yeah. Don't even hit record. Like I didn't hit record on this one. No, I'm just kidding.
well, fine. Call me back and we'll do it again.
I've done that before.
Try again tomorrow.
Well, guys, Jimmy,
Jeff,
thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Always.
Thank you, man. And listeners, we'll be right back with Ask Wolfie D Anything.
Thank you, Crippler. You're the best, brother. Take care,
Thanks,
buddy.
Guys. Thank you, Wolfie.
Dude. Yes, sir. Thank you. I'll give you a shout sometime, Jeff. Soon.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, brother.
See you, Jeff. DJ, hit the music. All right, we are back with Ask Wolfie D Anything. And once again, man, Jeff the Crippler Daniels, bro. Awesome, right? I mean,
brother, the Crippler,
the brother, yeah. Always
he's such a brother. I love that. He's a brother.
I know, man.
He's one of those guys that, I like, man, he caught the first moonsault.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
The young Wolfie D coming off the top with the moonsault, and I totally when he said that, it gave me chills because I hadn't thought of it in so long, and deep down in the memory bank somewhere. But when he said that, it gave me chills, man. Yeah, he caught me the first time I ever did the moonsault.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's why I love this show. Stuff like that.
Yeah, it brings back memories and makes you relive them and in a good way, And then we got to talk about Chris Champion with them, which is always a favorite topic of yours. And Yeah, man. Well, we got some questions if you're feeling froggy about answering them. So
froggy.
Yeah.
I'll jump.
All right. Well, we've got Mark Wolfington here on this first one from Twitter, and he asks this question. He says, to you, Wolfie, is there a point that you can go back to when wrestling as we knew it in the 70s to 2000s died? Would you say WCW going out of business, Vince not having competition, territory system going down, shoot interviews, our podcast, just kidding, undeserved WWF, WWE pushes that made people turn the channel? What do you think in your mind?
Okay, so the real question here is what made wrestling die? I don't think wrestling's dead. I don't. Yeah. I just know that the one thing that was always said to me is that wrestling goes in cycles, man. And I don't know if we've talked about this before, but man, I think it's like 7 or 8 years, something like that. It's peaks and valleys. You got in the valley, you got your hardcore wrestling fans that they're going to watch it no matter what. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Then you got your Hulk Hogan's. Okay. Yeah. Let's say the 80s, in early 80s, which brought it to a different level. You know, then you go down, then you got your Stone Colds and your Rocks and your different people. It just goes in peaks and valleys to where the people that are always going to watch get added on by the general public that goes, oh, wrestling's kind of cool. We see it on the news or, you know, whatever the case may be. It just goes in cycles like that.
Mm-hmm. It ebbs and flows like the ocean, right?
Yes, it absolutely does, man. And that's just the thing. And it could be a thing, you know, with other, I don't know, businesses. I don't know. But this is the one that I was in and the one that I follow and the one that I know what's going on with it. It just does that for whatever reason. I mean, you have your, you know, remember when Lawler slapped Kaufman? I mean,
right.
You know, on David Letterman. I mean, that was a huge thing, man. So if you can get those different big public eye events that everybody looks at, then, you know, there goes, you know, everybody's going to watch it for a minute. And then the people that are not like super into wrestling, yeah, they'll tune out after a while. But it just does that, man. It just does that.
Yeah.
You know, yes, do I think that, you know, when Vince came out and it's fake or whatever, he didn't, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but when that happened, I mean, everybody kind of knew anyway,
right?
But the sheet was pulled off, you know what I mean? Right. And now it's like they don't give a fuck if the sheet is pulled off, which I think is a problem, but there are ways, and I think some of the guys and I think the companies are realizing you can use social media to your advantage. Saying this, kind of a shoot on social media, nobody knows whether you're working or not if you do it right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's that. And you just got to adapt, I guess, to the times, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking now I've been a fan for 40 years now, maybe 42-ish range, but yeah, right around 40 years of being a fan.
Jimmy, you're only 30. Shut up.
Thank you. I love that. Keep going. But no, I mean, 40 years. So I think of 3 major times that wrestling was mainstream. Of course, the Hulk Hogan, of course, the Attitude Era. And now, I think now it's that peak again. And, you know, maybe there was another time in there, but honestly, I can think of 3 major eras that have been in my fandom as a wrestling fan.
Yeah, and the social media, here's another thing, man. And I'm guilty. I don't know whether I want to say guilty or not, but if you do a spot, some kind of goofy spot, whatever, and it shows up in my feed, I'll probably watch it.
Right.
And that's doing you a favor. I don't know whether the rest of your match was worth the fuck or not, but I'm seeing that.
Right.
So I remember back, you know, in the mid 90s, people would send in VHS tapes to Randy Hales, trying to get a job. And I feel like that's what I was watching. And back then, though, we laughed at that. It was like, holy fuck. You know, if you didn't get a phone call to come to the territory or get hired or whatever, why are you sending them tapes? don't send me in. Dude, I watched so many tapes of dudes like in their backyard, and swear to God, throwing people in trash cans and all this kind of stuff, and then cutting shitty promos and stuff. But I see that now on social media every day.
Yeah, exactly.
So funny.
It is, man. It is funny. That is another element of it, is like some of the best and some of the absolute worst wrestling are going on.
God.
But you got to think, even at the time of the peak of the golden era and even at the peak of the attitude era, there was some bad wrestling at the same time.
There's a clip of Hulk Hogan. I can't remember. I think it's WCW where he hits somebody with a chair, and it's like the lightest chair shot ever.
The Giant, I think, is what you're talking about.
And then recently, there's I think it's Sky Blue, and somebody else. She jumps off the railing, and both of them were at fault on this. It looked horrible.
Oh, yeah.
But see, okay, I'll go into this. Camera angles. I think they rely too much on camera angles now, as to where back then we didn't rely on camera angles. I'm relying on people sitting there around me, their eye angle.
Right.
I'm laying it in.
Yeah.
If you don't protect yourself, that's your fault. But that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole other story. And speaking of Sky Blue,
that's a whole nother episode, actually.
It might be, man. It might be. But Sky Blue is one of my favorite, as far as to, I hate to see her go, but I love to watch her walk away. Let's just say that. Goodness. But anyway, don't do chair shots anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the AEW should probably just outlaw chair shots if we're talking, being honest here. So, anyway.
If you can't throw it, man, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right. Well, that was a good question. Definitely appreciate that one. And then we've got the next one here from Russell Gilbert on Facebook. And he asked this one. So he's talking about, and he sent in the YouTube clip of you all in that Mississippi riot, right? And he says, any story on this, Wolfie? It was a riot in Mississippi, apparently, is what he said. So,
as usual, we've talked about this before as well, but Jamie started it, man. I mean, it was I think it was like a National Guard armory, a small one, or a community center or something like that. I mean, it was packed to the walls, and that don't mean thousands. That means probably 200, maybe 300. I don't know. So there was a guy. There was a guy in the back, an older man, and he had a child in his hand, and Jamie got on the mic and said some things to him that were racially motivated. Keep it like that. And so this dude put the kid down, and he started coming towards the ring. And I don't know whether he goes, when he got close to the ring, he was like, I probably shouldn't do this, because it was me, Jamie, Brickhouse Brown, and Atomic Dog. So, you know what I mean? I mean, you get there and you go, oh, this might not be a good decision. And so he fell down right at the ring there, and they said it was a heart attack. I think he was faking. The guy didn't die. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right, exactly.
So that happened, and it pissed a few other people off, and then they started jumping in, and we were hitting people left and right, and I got a scar to this day on my lower lip there, where somebody threw a chair from probably the second or third row. There was only 4 or 5 rows to the back, and the steel chair just comes in and wham, hits me right in the face, and it was crazy. But thank God, Steve Dahl, Terry Golden was another one. I can't remember who else, but the babyfaces came out and, started whacking us and telling the people, we got him, to get them to stop fucking with us and don't stab them. We got them. And they punched us to the dressing room, and that match never happened after that.
Yeah.
So that's the story.
Yeah, I mean, that is a legendary story, which you've told that one before, but when they ask it, man, it's always good to reapply the answer to it. But that's just a classic. And then I'd never seen the video.
There was no security, there was no cops, there was no nothing. Man. It was like we're on our own here.
Yeah, that was brutal. Oh man. Well, that's a good one. And it's funny that there's actually the video. You can go on Brian Turner's VHS Rehab out there and check it out for sure. So, yeah. So the next question is from 316 Shizacies. I swear to God, that's the name.
Shizacies?
Shizacies. Shizacies. I don't know what that means.
All right.
Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But anyway, he asked this question. He says, since you were involved in a lot of hardcore stuff, especially during the ECW wrestlers coming into TNA.
Not by choice.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Who did you work the best with? And then who was the worst to do hardcore stuff with?
Who did I work the best with as far as that goes? Man, like all of them, man. I love working with Perry Saturn. My thoughts on Sandman, but we still did good.
Yeah.
Harris Brothers, love them guys. You just have to know your opponent. Honestly, you have to know your opponent. Here's what we can do, or here's what we can't do before you even talk to anybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know that the Harris Brothers ain't going to do any twirly stuff with me. So, I'm not going to even go there with that. Perry Saturn, on the other hand, if we needed to add something like that, he could do it. Just Incredible could do it. Mike Awesome could too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you got to know your opponents, man. And Raven, God, man, there's so many of those guys. New Jack,
right.
I think I told the story of him coming to me in the dressing room. He's like, "Hey, man, I want you to put this dollar bill on me and
staple my forehead,
staple gun, and staple it to my forehead." I'm like, "Hell no, man! I'm not doing that because that means you're gonna want to do it to me." And he's like, "Nah, man, the ones I'm gonna shoot you are gonna be blanks." And blah blah blah. I'm like, okay. And then right in front of me in the dressing room, he puts the staple gun to his head, clink, and stabs one in his head, man, then pulls it out. And he goes, "See, it's okay." Whatever, dude. I'll do it. And so we did it. We also did a very fun spot. One of my favorite spots I ever did was, and I can't remember who came up with it, me or him, but where he put the mop squisher. What do you call those things?
The squeezer bucket? I don't know.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
He put that on my head and starts squeezing it, and I'm shaking all around. That was a good spot. But yeah, man, I mean, you just got to know who you're working with if you're smart, man. I feel like a lot of people want everybody to be able to do their shit. Right. And that's not a thing, man. You got to know who you're working with and what's going to make them look good.
Right.
What's going to make you look good? That lost art. What's going to make them look good?
Yeah.
I want them to look good because I want to look good.
Right.
Lost art. Promise you that.
I recently saw that match, and it's funny that he has the dollar bill and the staple gun, right? And he's going, you and Jack are paired off at that point, and he's about to stab that in your forehead. And I probably have seen the match, but I said, there's no way Wolfie's going to let that happen. And sure enough, you kicked him and took it from him and did it to him. And I was like, man, I wonder what happened with that dollar bill.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's great, Jimmy.
That needs to be in.
Who spent that? Or who rolled it up and snorted it? That's probably closer to the truth. But
yeah, exactly. But anyway, I wonder what that dollar bill meant. We do, man. A lot of crazy stuff. It has New Jack blood on it, and maybe some other matter that is not of.
Yeah, I mean, if you got that dollar bill, you know where it's at. Let us know.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably sell it at a convention for like a lot of money.
You probably could. I mean, come on, it's got New Jack's DNA on it. He's no longer with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could solve a few crimes too. I don't know.
And we're gonna have like 35. I got it right here, man. It's got a staple hole and blood in it. Well, okay.
I watch a lot of Dateline.
Yeah, you'll have to.
It could solve a few crimes.
Your CSI kid out. Yeah. Well, man, that's all I got, brother. That's awesome.
Are you sure?
I'm sure that's all I got. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, great show, man. Thank you to the Crippler.
Yeah.
Magic Mind.
Magic Mind. Don't forget, y'all, 48% off your first subscription, 20% off a one-time purchase at magicmind.com/livenincolor. Just use that code livenincolor20 and start your journey today and feel better, man. There's nothing wrong with spending a little money to feel better. That's all we're saying.
I'm not going to lie, man. Because of the Magic Mind, I think this is why. Throw me another question.
Okay, you're doing another one. All right.
See,
here we go. This is interesting.
Works, man.
It does. Work. All right. So, okay. Well, I had another one here.
See, I even threw you off there.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So this one is Latino Lariat from YouTube. And he just asked the simple question of, what's the worst bump that you've ever taken?
Let me think about that for a minute. God. Okay, so we were just talking about it. New Jack out of the balcony on me through the table was pretty tough. The Smoking Guns finish in that hard-ass WWE ring was pretty brutal. Knocked the wind out of me. I was already winded, too. Knocked it further out. Jeff Gaylord punched me in the face with a working punch.
Oh my god!
I couldn't chew for like a week. My jaw was all over to the side.
Yeah,
it was weird. Man, there's been a lot. But yeah, that probably, man. If I had to say, that was the hardest bump. And the New Jack bump was hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I did not like the Pitbull's finish either. The power bomb off the top rope. I hated that too.
Yeah, that's a bump right there.
I don't really care for back bumps like choke slams and things where you go up and backwards. Really don't care for those. Shoulder tackles straight down, I'm good with that. But like up and then down kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of that. The Pitbull finish, I was like, fuck, man. Yeah. See, Jamie always wants to complain that he took the heat. But I took a lot of the big bumps because he wouldn't.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to let you take this one, Wolfie. I'll get the next one.
You take that one.
Yeah. You get on Ahmed's shoulders, brother.
Exactly.
You're better. You're better at bumping, you know. He would have never said that. Oh, well, that is literally all we got, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. Thank the listeners very much. Y'all been awesome. So
I'm going to go drink the rest of my Mega Mind.
Yeah, Magic Mind potion.
I'll be up for a week. See. Just kidding. Love you guys. Thank you for listening.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
Join me, Gene Jackson, for the Jackson Interaction Podcast, where I'll be doing one-on-one interviews with people from the world of professional wrestling, as well as stand-up comedy. You can get them anywhere podcasts are available in both video and audio form, but you can find them all at GeneJacksonPod.com.
That's right, it's the talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to LostWrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
So that was another great episode. Hey, Wolfie, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Jimmy, they can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. I'm just kidding. They can find me on Facebook. My personal page is Warren Wolf, WOLFE. I'm on Instagram at WarrenWolf13.
You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Wolfie D. Here's the thing. Wolfie always has offers for his autographed photos. He has a selection of some awesome photos from throughout his career that he will autograph and personalize any way that you want him to. Just contact him either directly at his personal Facebook page or through any one of our other pages, and we'll make sure you get in contact directly with Wolfie. Get those photos, right, Wolfie?
Yeah, I've got some good stuff on there, to help with the podcast.
Folks, if you can't get out to a show to meet Wolfie D, there's nothing like that, especially for the fans of PG-13 and Wolfie D. And before we go, you can always find me, your host, Jimmy Street, at James Rock Street on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
And hey, Jimmy, before we go real quick, I just want to add in there, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate, first of all, the work you've done for this podcast. You have worked your butt off. Secondly, the people that are liking the page. Beyond that, even more, is the people that are listening, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the podcast drops a new episode every Monday at noon, and our past episodes are streaming now on demand on all major podcast formats. Thanks again.
I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome.
I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap
for your dome.
And here we go. The original white boy that came out sagging, not bragging, don't be hating, cause I'm spitting the truth. Still livin' in color, from rush your mother, utilize a hubcap, unlike any other. Back in the day, I was N-O-D, and I was P to the G, plus the 1 and the 3. In case you forgot, they call me Wolfie D. Been cloned and copied so many times, tired of suckers taking credit for what is mine. You know who you are, without me name dropping. Wrestling's first white boy coming out hip-hop. Been doing it like this since 92. Laid low for a while and you thought I was through. Listen real close to these rhymes that I've injected. This shit's so sick it makes your ears get infected. Mad skills, no faking, there is no one great. Cause I'm bringing more folks than Obi-Wan or Vader. Not here to play games, so you better beware. You don't like me, so what? I really don't care. Like time I keep ticking and I can't be stopped. You sucker step to the side unless you wanna get dropped. With my finish, I'll straight knock you out. Please allow me to tell you what it's all about. I'm gonna wind it up, then I'm driving it home. It's Wolfie D, baby. I got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome.
We got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome.
This has been a James Rock Street production.